So the first card you have for your past is the Two of Cups. So obviously this is about some kind of relationship. It can be about a friendship as well. So this might be a relationship or a friendship. I am seeing a little bit of confusion about this. There's some kind of mix up between the two, I think. It might have, maybe this went backwards and forwards a few times. It might be that, or it might have developed from a friendship. I think at this time there was there's some feeling of growing closer as friends, but maybe getting further apart or becoming separated a bit as lovers. I hope that makes sense. Because I'm just seeing someone who talks to you, and they were close with you in that way. Maybe they shared a lot of deep things that were going on with them. I think they had a lot going on at this time, a few problems. But in terms of being close in love, there was a disconnection there. And I think this was something you really felt, and I think you might have even avoided talking to them about this, because I think, again, I'm seeing they have a lot of problems, so I think maybe that was what it was. So, you probably didn't want to make things worse. So yeah, I think you might have just been waiting this out for a while before you decided, what you were going to do, and you might have also been mirroring them a bit, so when they distanced themselves from you in a certain way, you decided to kind of do the same. Not to be manipulative, I think you were just going by how you were feeling at the time. So that's what I'm seeing there. So the next card you have for your past is the Eight of Wands. I think you've been through a lot with this person, actually. I don't know how long you've physically been together, but this isn't about how long you've been together time-wise, because I think the closeness that you have, or you had, between yourselves, between each other, sort of outweighs the time you've actually spent together. I hope that makes sense. What I mean is, I'll try and explain what I mean. In other relationships that you've had, I think you've spent a lot longer with those people, or some of them, or one of them, and that was time-wise. But you didn't have that close connection, that sense of knowing them as well on that level as you do with this person. And I think that's probably why you really felt this, and this is probably why you wanted to fight for this or hang on to this. I think you are really good as friends. That might not be what you want to hear, I don't know, but you do connect very well as friends. So yeah, this is a busy card. It can be about a lot of communication. So there was a lot of communication coming, between you, coming from them and from you, but it probably wasn't the kind of communication you wanted. You wanted more love communication, and this wasn't like that. That's what I'm seeing. So the last card you have your past is the Two of Pentacles. So yeah, again, you were trying to hold this together. You were thinking about how you're going to hold this together. This was all on your mind. Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to approach them? What am I going to do about this? And these two coins, if you look at these two coins, they're held together by this rope, or this, whatever this is, whatever this is that makes an infinity symbol. So it's like the coins are connected, but they're not right next to each other or up against each other as lovers are. They're separated. And this man, he's trying to keep the whole thing together. And also, if you look at him, he's by himself. So he's trying to do this by himself. And that's how this might have felt to you, that you're by yourself, you're alone in this, and you were trying to keep this together alone. You weren't feeling that kind of support coming from them. And I think this feeling of having to cope by yourself, I think was probably happening in other areas of your life as well. I'm just feeling that this might have been a bit of a lonely time for you. And I think it was hard for you to reach out to people. You really felt as if you had to cope alone. I'm not sure why that was, but I am seeing isolation around you as well. So this is a very difficult time for you. And it probably still is. So yeah, the first card you have for your present is the Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, this woman's happy to be on her own. She has everything she needs. She's fine. She's in a beautiful garden. She doesn't need anyone else. Maybe this is what your fear was around this person, that this is what they wanted, that they wanted to be on their own. But I'm not seeing that happening for them. This is a very difficult time for them. I am seeing a lot of problems around them. They have a lot of things going on in their life, and it's sort of swirling around in their mind. They're definitely not happy. They're definitely not feeling like this woman's feeling. I am seeing a work pressure around them. I'm seeing family pressure around them. I'm specifically seeing a problem with a parent, so it might be their mother, because obviously this is female energy in this card. There's a lot going on here. I do think they do have a long-term ongoing problem with a family member, probably their mother. I'm seeing that quite clearly. So even though you really do care about this person, and you really, really do, and you're there for them, you absolutely are, I think you're going to have to switch off at some time and maybe aim to be a little bit more like the woman on this card yourself. I'm not saying you should leave them and be alone and walk off or whatever. I'm not saying that at all. But if this is all resonating, I think you're going to have some kind of talk with them at some time. But you're also mindful of the timing of this and how you're going to say this, and thinking about what you need to say. And yeah, I keep on getting this feeling that the timing wouldn't be right for this talk now. So until the time's right, yeah, be there for them, but also take care of yourself like this woman is. Take a little bit of time out of this, at times, not all the time, but just when you feel it's getting a bit too much, take some time out, do something fun for yourself, because there's no point in having two stressed people. That's not going to solve anything. So yeah, the next card you have here present is the Two of Swords. So yeah, again, you're very conflicted. It's a little bit like, you want this person's friendship. You want their friendship and you want their love as well. Of course, I mean, that's the ultimate relationship when you have someone who's your friend and also your lover. That's the ultimate. But I think the fear around you is that, if you do have this talk and everything goes wrong, I think you're fearing that you might mess things up and then you won't have anything. You won't have a lover or a friend. That's the kind of fear, I think. That's what I'm getting. So if this is all resonating, you're not happy with the way things are now. So something has to change. It's just a matter of when it's going to change. Now, I think it might have to be up to you to say something, especially around this time. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future right now, but at this time, when I'm looking at this card, it's going to have to be up to you, because they're so lost in their problems. That's what I'm seeing in this card, and they can't see what they need to do. They're kind of blindfolded like this woman. So, and this card's like a stalemate in chess where no one's winning and no one's getting anywhere. And so you can't go on like that forever. So you are going to have some kind of talk. You are going to have to break this and change this in some way. But again, I still don't think the timing's right now. And I think this is something you realise as well. So you're kind of a little bit stuck. So the last card you have here present is the Nine of Wands. So yeah, outside of this whole situation, you're a really strong person. You're strong in the workplace. You're strong in a lot of areas of your life. You've been through a lot of things, and you've lost people as well. I can see that. Someone who was really, really close to you, actually, you lost someone. And this could be why you feel as if you don't have anyone to talk to or many people to talk to, because you miss talking to this person. Because I think this person who you lost, I think there was someone who you used to talk to all the time. Maybe you called them every day or something, or you talked to them. And you were alike, you were very alike, you were like them in your thinking, and maybe even in your looks. Maybe you even looked similar, I don't know, but you're very alike in a lot of ways. Sadly, you lost this person for whatever reason. They're not around you. I know this is negative. I'm sorry, I'm just picking up on these things. But what I'm seeing here is that, you're so strong in all these other areas, but you're not as strong when it comes to love, especially with this person. I know you care about them, and I know they have a lot of problems as well. And I know love's different from other things in your life. It's different from work. It's different from practical things. But I think they might be starting to bring you down a bit more than you should be, and it might be starting to affect other areas of your life. And I don't think they mean to do this. I don't think they're trying to bring you down or any of that, but I think it's just a thing that might naturally be happening. So, if this is resonating, if you're feeling this, try to tap into that strength again if you have. If you can, that you have, just for yourself, just so that you can be a little bit more self-preserving. Just do some things for yourself, little things that you like to do, like eat nice food or anything. Just be kind to yourself, build yourself up again, even if it's in tiny ways. Just take a break out of this, I should say, and just go and, spend some time doing things you like, maybe watching a movie you like, or reading something you like, or eating something you like, anything, any little thing that's just going to help build you up again. So the first card you have in your future is, yes, the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so I really don't want to be any more negative, because I know this is quite a heavy reading, and I don't want to sound bossy either. I have been a bit bossy in these readings lately. I know I have, and I get into trouble for that. But anyway, this is showing me a few things. The first thing is that you feel left out, which I'm seeing all over this reading. But the other thing is, this person has a lot of problems. Some of them are things that have just happened to them. We all have these things that just happen in our lives that we don't have any control over. But some things can be solved, or at least they can be fixed or changed or improved in some way. And you can see this. This is the thing. You can see this, but maybe they can't see this. Because obviously there are two people in this card, and one's looking forwards, and he's looking upwards as well. And obviously he's in a really bad situation. He's on crutches, he's cold, he's poor, and everything else. But he's looking up and he's looking forwards. He knows there's something ahead of him. He knows there's some kind of way out of this, or some way to change this. Now, the woman on this card doesn't know that. She's looking down, she's looking at the snow, and she's probably thinking, oh, I'm so cold, and it's snowing, and I'm left out here, and it's miserable, and all of that. Now, I think this is what you're trying to show them. And I think this is what you might even say to them at times, when they're talking to you, saying, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong. And you're kind of saying to them, look, why don't you try this? This is a way of changing this thing. Or have you thought of this? Maybe if you do this, maybe if you, don't give up. Maybe you should try this. So this is what I'm seeing happening. And, you're just trying to show them that they're not really seeing a lot of things properly. And, the thing is, though, I think you're trying to tell them, but I don't think they're hearing it at this time. You can tell someone in 100 different ways over and over again, but until they can see it themselves, they probably won't change. So I think, and this is so hard. When you really care about someone, you can only say so much and do so much for them, but they have to take the action themselves. And that sounds a bit harsh, but I think you can see that. Because of everything you've been through, you've survived a lot, but they can't see that. So I think they're going to have to just see this for themselves, and they're going to have to do this for themselves. And that doesn't mean you stop caring for them, or stop trying to help them, or loving them, or whatever. Of course, it doesn't mean that. But I think you are going to have to take some kind of a back seat for their sake, so that they can see this themselves. And also for your own sake, which is what I was seeing in the Nine of Wands, that you need to take a step back for your own self-preservation as well. And, again, in this card, this is about being left out. So you also have this problem of being left out, or feeling left out romantically. But again, I think you're probably going to keep on putting that to one side for a while, while all these problems are going on. So this is a really complicated situation. I can see that. And, I wish I could tell you this is going to end in a fantastic positivity. It might end like that, it might. But there are a lot of variables here. There's a lot going on with them. It can go this way or this way or this way. There's so many variables here. And, how quickly they can come out of this. All of the different difficult problems they have, because they have a lot of different ones, and also how they react and how you react to them. So there's a lot that can happen between now and the conclusion of this. So there are really too many variables for me to say one way or the other. I'd love to be able to tell you that it's going to be amazing, but I really have to be honest with you and say that I can't see a clear conclusion here at all. So the next card you have for your future is Justice. So yeah, there will be a conclusion. There has to be. There will be some at some time, probably a bit later. And I think there will be some kind of resolution. That's what this card's about. You know, it's about a court case where two people say their side or have their side put forward to the judge, and then a conclusion happens, a result happens out of that. So there is going to be something like that. You're not going to have a court case, I don't mean that. You're just going to probably just have some talks. And probably you're going to have more than one talk, I think, because there's a lot to discuss here. This card's showing me that you will probably have a positive outcome in the end. Because if you look at this curtain behind this woman, you can see the sun, or yellow, which represents the sun to me at the top of this. So when you have this talk and you're able to hear each other's sides, this veil is probably going to come down, or this curtain, and then you'll both see the outcome, and it's going to be the sun. It's going to be positive. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be together as a couple. It might be that. It might be that you're going to be friends. It might be that you're going to go your separate ways, and that's what the best, most positive outcome is for both of you. Again, this is very unclear. I know a lot of the time I'm specific, but sometimes I just can't be, because that's what's happening here. So I can only see what's here. There will be an outcome. It will be the most positive one for you. And it's going to happen eventually, because again, there's a lot happening between now and that outcome, a lot of variables, things going all different ways. So I really don't. I could think of a few things that might happen, but they're not 100% clear. So I don't want to give anyone any false information or hope or anything like that. All I can tell you is there's some kind of positivity at the end of this. And I really hope you do have these talks, because you do need to have them. No matter what, you do need to have these talks, obviously at the right time. So the last card you have for your future is the Ace of Swords. Yeah, so this is clarity. This card's about pure clarity, nothing else, clarity. So it is looking likely, I will say, that you will have these talks, you will come to a conclusion. Again, probably a positive conclusion. I'm actually seeing some face-to-face talks. I'm also seeing a lot of communication in writing as well. So I think you'll have these main conversations in person, but you'll also have some other conversations going on between that. And this is going to probably be in text message, I think, because I am seeing writing in this. So yeah, and I think this is a message or a reminder to you, because this is about clarity. So I think what the message here is, try to save any big emotional or important things for face-to-face conversations, because I'm seeing a danger of things being misinterpreted, and also a temptation to just shoot off a text when your feelings are heightened. So don't do that. Keep all your thoughts and your feelings all to yourself. Write them down if you have to get everything clear. And then when you have these talks with them, make sure you have everything presented in a very clear, to the point way, where you're not letting your emotions kind of cloud things or start arguments or start problems. Just be very clear, and also try to be, because this is the card of non-emotion. It's like clarity, objectification, or being objective. I know I'm not even making sense. Being objective, being clear, not emotions, being non-emotional. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm getting a bit flustered. So I know when you're having conversations about love, or you care for someone, or you want to be with them, and all of this thing, I know it's really hard to keep emotions out of these talks. I struggle with that myself. But I think in this case, you really should try to do that, or at least try to keep any kind of being upset or using a lot of emotive language or blame or any of that kind of thing. Be very careful to keep that out of these talks. Be quite objective. Of course, if you love them, express that and all of that. But be careful to keep any kind of non-rational things out of this. Don't be like, oh, you always do this. Oh, I never do that. Be very, very clear and rational. That's the message I'm getting in that card. I know it's hard when this is a love conversation, but that's the message I'm getting in that card.